Nick Frost, thanks very much for speaking to us here at Entertainment.ie. It's a
Not a
pleasure,
problem.
pleasure. I saw the film there a couple of days ago. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Cool.
You must be really happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real high seas romp.
That's it. Yeah. So you're doing the press rounds now. Have you done much of this so far? You must be all over the place.
I wouldn't. Yes, we have. I don't want you to think that you're
well, I
not my
assume
first.
our time here is special, obviously.
Yeah. We've been to like Dublin, Manchester, Glasgow, here, and then we did a massive 2-day press junket in London, which made me feel a bit like a film star. It was very weird and starry. And then I go to Australia tomorrow.
Oh, exciting.
And then Amsterdam, Berlin, France, Copenhagen.
Australia, then Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a nice round trip.
I missed my
isn't it?
birthday because the time difference between here and Australia.
So you do. Okay.
So I leave on the 27th and arrive on the 29th. And
So
my
you don't have a
birthday's
birthday this
on the
year?
28th.
Oh, okay.
So I will
So you'll
be
be the same
36
age.
for another year, which probably means I have to get a new driving license and stuff like that.
All these things to work out. How did you get involved with the film initially?
Well, I have a rumour that Richard wrote the part for me, which is tremendously flattering because I wasn't even sure if he knew I existed. Really, I'd done a few little bits for comic relief here and there, but I don't know if he'd seen Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead, but he contacted me, or the casting directors contacted me through my agents and said that Richard has written you a part in his film. So I immediately said yes, just straight off the bat without reading it.
Yeah, that must be incredibly gratifying to know someone with the stature of Richard is
Absolutely.
spending time just working you into his film.
Well, he's, I like to think of him as British comedy's headmaster.
Right.
And I have been called into his office.
So okay, you're in trouble now.
Yeah. So, he's very charismatic, and I kind of found myself standing near him a lot.
Right.
And kind of just
picking
looking up at
thing,
him and
all doe-eyed.
wanting him to talk to me. I'll get you tea, Richard. I'll give you it.
Right, you play the character of Dave now. What can
Yeah.
you tell us, for those who haven't seen the film? What can you tell us about your character?
If there is a moral heart to this film, Dave is perhaps the furthest point away from that
Okay, that's
place. He is a bit of a rotter, I think. But he also has a heart. I think he's deeply insecure, and there's a good guy in there somewhere. But it's the '60s, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
And does on the ship.
Right.
I think Dave gets away with quite a lot because he's a bit charming.
And I have to say, you have a pretty suave radio voice as well for the.
Thank you very
for the
much.
couple of scenes. Did you have to practice that? Did you take any inspiration? Like, did you
Well,
sit down and listen to Tony Blackburn on the TV?
Well, I wanted to avoid any DJ who was alive, and I didn't want some old 70-year-old DJ cornering me at a party saying you've done a rubbish me. So I kind of I tried as much as possible to keep him original, and I think there are two different schools of DJ on the boat. There are the kind of comedy guys, and then there are the music guys, the kind of Kenny Everetts and the John Peels.
Right.
So I wanted Dave to be about the music, basically. And so, I listened to a lot of music, and we had DJ booths set up on the ship we rehearsed on, and in London too. So I just found myself kind of 2 or 3 hours a week just playing records, really, and just getting very comfortable using all the equipment first.
Yeah.
And then after like the second or third week of doing that, then trying to be comfortable talking too,
Yeah.
because it's not. I mean, I know it's easy to talk, but it isn't easy when you have to say, to be a DJ. So I found every band on my playlist where they would be playing between the summer of '66 and the winter of '67, and found every single gig they played. So I think a lot of Dave's stuff is telling people where they can go and see the Small Faces or the Who, or where they've been playing.
Yeah, it sounds like you seem pretty interested in the radio side of things. Would you ever think about doing a podcast or anything along those lines? Would you have the time even?
Well, that's the problem. I mean, I do like doing radio a lot. I think the pressure's off slightly because there's no cameras looking at you, and there's not 100 people on the set looking at your mistakes, and you don't have to learn pages and pages of dialogue. Just if I could say to someone, I can give you 3 hours a week, Thursday night from 6 till 9 for the next 6 months, then I probably would.
Yeah.
But I can't.
You can't. It's too many obligations.
Yeah.
Okay, just getting back to the film. It's obviously set within a very specific time period. Did you already have a large interest in the rock and roll and pop music of the '60s, or is that something you had to study up on slightly?
Yeah, I had to study up on it slightly. I was a massive fan of Jimi Hendrix, and that was kind of as much, and The Who slightly too, but that was as far as it went really. My kind of first love was house music, so I obviously didn't live through the era, but when I was a kid, we had pirate radio ships moored off the coast of Essex in the late 80s, but they were playing house music.
House music,
so
right.
I kind of was that child at the beginning of the film, but I'd go up and hide and put the radio on, but then you'd hear Chicago House or Frankie Knuckles or, something, Salt and Pepper coming out of my radio.
Great, I see. And there's also, there's a scene in the film where you're essentially completely naked.
Say it.
You're
I don't
naked.
mind, yeah.
It's your nude scene. It must be your first, is it?
Yeah.
First,
I
okay.
practiced a lot at home.
So I reckon that's going to satisfy a lot of the diehard Spaced fans who were craving to see
Yeah.
Mike and the Nip all these years.
A lot of bears as well.
Bears. Oh yeah, I'm aware
I'm
of
a
that.
big fan of bears.
Really?
Yeah.
Has someone told you that before, or are you just speculating?
Oh no, it's
It's a well-known fact.
It's a well-known fact. If a magazine approached me and wanted me to be on the cover of All American Bear, I think I'd do it.
Would you?
Yeah, and I've even picked out the outfit I'd wear for my cover shoot.
Get your publicist on the go on that. I mean, that's a nice career change, I think. So what was it like filming the nude scene? Did you go down the Sharon Stone route of clothes set and bottle of wine, or?
No, I'm not that proud. I'm just, I just went in and just got it off.
Yeah.
They had a nice large towel for me to wrap round myself, and then when the time came,
so you're perfectly comfortable.
Out came the junk, and that was that. I think you can't be precious about these things. I've had the script for 6 months, and I saw, that scene is coming up.
Yeah.
So I think when you are shooting it is not the time to say, I don't really want to take my pants off.
Hang on, Richard, just a second.
Yeah. I mean, I also played a lot of rugby when I was a young man, so.
Oh, there's the showers. Okay.
So I'm not.
Yeah, grand. And what was it like on set? Because there's a lot of funny people on the set with O'Dowd and Rhys Ifans, and Rhys Darby and people like that.
Well, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I wish I could say something else and say it was horrible. We were all very serious, but when you see us on the screen having a laugh, that was just us having a laugh. Every day was like that. It was amazing.
Yeah. All right, just a little, just touching on what you're up to in the future. I was just doing a bit of research, and it looks like you're collaborating with Simon Pegg again on a couple of projects.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that, if anything?
Well, we've just finished writing a film called Paul, which we start shooting on June the 8th in America.
Right, and that's with Greg Mottola, is it?
It's with Greg Mottola, who directed Superbad,
Yeah, and a few Arrested Developments and Undeclared, which is a great show.
Absolutely,
as well,
yeah. And Adventureland, his new film, which is I think coming out very, very, very shortly.
Right. Okay. And what's that about?
It's two comic book geeks. I think I can say geeks.
Yeah. Aficionados, perhaps, or we'll go with geeks. We'll go with geeks. Okay.
And they discover an alien in a crashed vehicle and decide to help him get home. So it's a bit like Little Miss Sunshine, but with E.T.
in there as well. Okay. Yeah. And just wrapping up now. There's long been rumours about some sort of either a third series of Spaced or a movie or anything like that. But have you all just moved on?
Done.
Creatively?
It's finished. No.
It's finished.
It's done. It will be 2, and we'll leave it as a.
Because obviously you still enjoy working with Simon, but just on different projects.
Well, yeah. I mean, Simon and I have never been a double act. We just enjoy working together, and with Edgar as well as a 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's nice, and I think it's important for our own identities that we do things separately.
Yeah.
And then, when we come back to do a film, hopefully people will still feel that it's exciting and a little bit special. I wouldn't want people to get bored of Simon and I's chemistry, because I think it's quite a special thing, really.
Right, yeah, you're right. Okay, Nick, thanks very much. Best of luck with the film.
Cool.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope it gets all the success it deserves.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Wicked.
Pleasure. Thank you. Cheers.